Hello everybody! The winter major is almost starting when I'm doing this video. Winter major, new course, can it be better? No, it cannot. As a tournament player like myself, the best combination is a new course and a major. In a major, you're able to win more clan points, but most especially the respect of doing well in a major is what I'm looking for when it comes to a tournament player, because we only get 4 of them a year, and then it is like a little bit more exciting. There's always more players to be playing and stuff like that, so there's always more hype around everything. Before we take a look at the content here in this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. A question I do get a lot is, why should I use a guide? Why should I pay to use a guide? I would say that when paying for a guide, you're actually gaining money. You're actually earning money by doing so, or at least saving money, maybe is the right word to say. What I mean with that is, like, investing a small amount of money in a guide means that you have to practice less, and which means that you use less practice tokens, you use less balls, and you also use less time. I mean, time is money as well. So with those 3 combinations, by giving yourself a chance to have the best guys on the market that we do have for Pro, Expert and Master, you give yourself a chance to be competitive by going to the weekend round, going to the opening round. Also, if that is what you like, to compete for the top spots. I mean, we all have different goals, and I mean, some people have a goal of going for gold, some people have a goal to get to weekend round. Regardless, we have the possibility for you to make that happen, and do that by saving money in the long run. So make sure to scan the QR code here on the side, or you go directly to patreon.com/golf-tommy using the link in the description down below, and choose one of the packages for the division that you are playing. Obviously, we do have complete coverage for Pro, Expert and Master when it comes to the 18-hole tournaments, but you can also bundle that together with other guides such as shootout guides and 9-hole cup guides and stuff like that. If you want to see more examples of the guides that we are producing, you can always email support@golf-tommy.com, because yes, we're a big team. We have a support line. We do have everything from helping you out to obviously giving you the best guides there is. And last but not least, before we move on to check out the packages and then some examples of guides, is that our idea with creating guides is to improve you as a player. Obviously, we want you to have a nice scorecard in the end of the tournament, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to improve your general knowledge and also make you a better player. We know that by doing so, you will get better scorecards in the end. So everything goes hand in hand. But now let's move on and talk about the packages. When you scan the QR code here above me, or you use the link patreon.com/golf-tommy, you will get to this page here. It will show you all the packages that we have available for purchase, and the ones that you're gonna look for when it comes to 18-hole tournaments are the ones called Ultimate Tournament Text Guide. There we have Pro, we have Expert, we have Master. These are the single division package. If you're playing multiply divisions, we do have those that are the double division packages as well, which you can find here. You can see Ultimate Tournament Text Guide, Pro and Master, Expert and Master, and then obviously here Pro and Expert. So whatever you're looking for, you're going to find yourself at the right place. Obviously, if you do want to have 9-hole cup guides as well, we do have the 9-hole cup guides with the various divisions and stuff like that. Have in mind that choosing a double division package or above, that will automatically improve, not improve, it will automatically include the 9-hole cup guides for whatever division we are creating that for no additional cost. All right, so the Ultimate Tournament Guide, Pro, Expert or Master, you can see the price that is in Swedish. All right, so 124.50 Swedish is $12.50 American. All right, so that is the cheapest there is on the market for the regular 18-hole tournaments. It is not so much for being cheap. We do believe that this is a fair price for our product. And obviously, you know, in the end, that's up to you to decide if it's too much or if it's too little, but if it's too much and stuff like that. But it's worth a try. Signing up for any of the packet gets you access for 30 days, and it includes all the tournaments that is then produced during those 30 days. And we are always making a guide for the 18-hole tournaments. We're never taking a break, so we will not just automatically say to you, all right, we're taking a break here and there for that tournament. That's never going to happen. So it's a serious business. So once you do sign up, you come to a professional team that know what they are doing. We have done this for so many years now that we have a solid foundation, solid platform, and we are doing the best that we can to improve players' Golf Clash game. So sign up to any of our packages. If there is any questions before sign up, you can always email support@golfclashtommy.com. Let's take a look at some examples for the various divisions. Let's have a look at Master Division. And before we have a look at the content here, make sure that if you haven't done that already as a user, make sure to read through the general advice and understanding our guides and balls, curl and wind angles page. This, as it will explain much of the data that is on our guides. And, you know, take 5 minutes, read it through, and it will help you understand the guides even better, especially if you are a new user to our guides. When it comes to the team in Master, we are a big team. I mean, we have people that are overlapping and doing content in other divisions as well. And that's the beauty with having such a big team. And I'm so proud of everyone that is involved, because we are all pulling our weight and having each other's backs. That's why we can always be several steps ahead of others, because we are not a 1 or 2 man band per division. We are a big team helping each other out. You can see here as well on the shot creator section, see free FTP shot creators means free to play shot creators, because that's an important thing for me to address here. We are creating shots for paid balls and free to play balls. Does that mean that we're just taking a ball that is win 4 and then calling it free to play? No, we are specifically testing and designing free to play ball shots so you can compete and easily get yourself to the weekend round, and with a little luck as well, get yourself to compete for a top 10 or a medal. And that is something we spend a lot of time and effort on, to create options like that, because Master is otherwise a very expensive division to play in. And we want players to be able to feel that we can use free-to-play ball shot and we can still get ourselves to the weekend round. Sure, there will be situations where a paid ball will give you a massive advantage, but you know, many of our followers are using a mix of it. I mean, okay, here I'm going free to play, here I'm going free to play, here I'm going a paid ball, which essentially then becomes a much cheaper round to play, and it becomes also that you don't have to invest so much when it comes to using different balls. So have that in mind when it comes to using our Master guide. But here you can see a perfect example of par 4 and par 5 slide. Obviously the main shot, we have the drive at the top, and we have the second shot at the bottom, working a lot with wind angle tweaks on the par 4s and the par 5s and the par 3s. We're working with tables as well to allow you to follow that easily, and obviously presenting all the data possible for you to be able to compete on every single hole. And when it comes to the par 3s here as well, you can see here, if we scroll down, you see par 3s, we're working with wind angle tweaks to allow you to be spot on. The more in-depth wind angle tweaks as well, and it may look scary when you're looking at it like that, but if your plan is to improve and become a better player and fight at the top for the top spots in Master Division, these are things that you're going to have to learn and to have to improve upon, which is the wind angle tweaks. But if you're not interested in that, which there are plenty of players that are not, because their interest is not to fight for the top spot in the division, then that's fine. Then don't use it, but then use the other parts of the shot. But as I said from the beginning, we are presenting all the data for you then to choose what suits your game. But we want to present, once again, all the data, right? Not just part of the data, because we don't believe in you understanding the rest of the data. We're presenting all the data for you to choose if there's something for you to follow or not. And here you can see we have a free-to-play ball shots on a very tough par 3 always presenting the free-to-play ball options here, free-to-play as well, that can play as free-to-play. I mean, there are so many different type of ways here for you to get yourself to the opening round, then to the weekend round. Choose to play free-to-play, choose to play paid ball, choose to mix, right? And that's the beauty with our, we are such a, once again, such a big team, so many shot creators that are testing, and that's the reason why we are the absolute biggest when it comes to Master Division compared to others that are doing Master Division guides. So when it comes to Master Division, the wins are changing from qualifying to opening round, but then the opening and the weekend round luckily is the same win, which I think it should be in all the divisions, but that's not the case. When it comes to the main driver we're catering as low as Apocalypse level 5+. So if you have an Apocalypse level 5, you can actually use our guides and compete for a top spot in Master Division. And again, free to play and paid balls is able to be used. So scan the QR code here at the top for the best guides on the market for not just Master Division, for Pro and Expert as well. If you have any questions, you can always email support@golfclashtommy.com if you want to see more examples for an example, or just have other questions before you do sign up. Let's have a look at Expert Division, and before we take a look at the content and talk about our thought process and the team, make sure to read through, before you use any of our guides, read through the general advice and understanding our guides combined with balls, curl and wind angles pages. The reason for that is because there are a lot of data when it comes to our guides, and we are always presenting all the data. We're not holding back, because again, a guide should include all types of content. Then it's up to you to decide what you want to follow of that content. If you want to follow all or a portion of it, that's up to you, but we want to present everything. So here you have helpful text explanations, but also video links. You can press the YouTube logos here and you can go directly and watch a video and stuff like that, explaining of the curl, wind angle tweaks, etc., and also why we're doing ball swaps and club swaps and stuff like that, which could be hard to understand if you're not used to that and such. All about making it easy for all of you to understand. When it comes to our guide team, we do have one of the best creators in the world leading our expert shot team, which is Brandon Burke. Then we do have a lot of backup when it comes to from the rest of the team, and you can see here there's plenty of shot creators. There are people making slides, people active in the in Telegram hole shots and stuff like that. The important part for me to show here is that we are a big team. We're always helping each other and having each other's back. We are not a one or two man band, which obviously helps us being so far ahead of others when it comes to creating expert content, and obviously all the other divisions as well, which means that we will always have a support line open to help you out if there is something. We will always be there making tweaks. We will always be there adding new shots if we see it necessary, and so forth. When it comes to our expert guide, our focus, our main driver, which I would like to call it, is Apocalypse level 4+. Does that mean that we're not using other drivers? We are. We're using quarterback, we're using the rock whenever we can, but when it comes to Thor's Hammer, Apocalypse, Extra Mile, our main focus is to always cover Apocalypse level 4+, right? So you have suggestion for Apoc 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So even if you have slightly lower clubs than Apoc 7 and Apoc 8, then you will still have that covered here in the guide. Our main focus, or our base focus, is free to play, right? Every option that we do have, you can play free to play based, right? Or like every hole that we have, you can play free to play. That's our base always. But we did that, now it's over a year ago, but we then introduced that was a role for a specific person in our team to create aggressive shots, special ball shots, try the shots out with win 5 balls and stuff like that, because we do have a lot of players that do want to use paid balls in expert, and that's fine. I mean, and then it's our responsibility to find a way, and we did find a way by then adding alternatives where we do feel it's necessary, and have that in mind. Just because you just because there is a hole and you have a special ball doesn't mean that we feel it's worth using it just there. But you can see here in hole 1, you can use a special ball if you want to. You don't have to play with a Kingmaker, Kingslayer, Centurion. Use any other ball that you have the same stats that is selected. But if there is a situation where, okay, here we can drive green, but here but that we need to do with a special ball, then we're creating an option like that to allow those of you that do invest in the special balls to actually be able to use them in a way that gives you an advantage. And that's something that is very important to have in mind. But we will always have free-to-play ball play, so initially, not in general, you can use whatever ball you like to follow our guides. Part 3s, we work with wind angle tweaks, and here you can see a specific example where we're using a ball with more side spin to allow us to be more direct and have a better chance. And especially in this case on hole number 2 in the last tournament, we then allowed us to play without curl by using more left spin, which is a perfect example where by using a better ball, like a paid ball, we can do an alternative shot. For those having that type of ball, then you have a slightly better chance than having to use curl, which always going to be somewhat inconsistent when it comes to par 3s. But wind angle tweaks is where I want to put my point on here. And the wind angle tweaks is something you don't have to follow, but you can follow if you want to. Those that are at the top of their division will always be following the wind angle tweaks, because that will give you some extra drops if done correctly. But again, it's a guide, and we are catering to players that are going for gold, catering to players that going for the weekend round. And it doesn't matter what goal you have. If you reach your goal, you should be happy. And we want to cater to each and every one, and regardless what goal they are having. So use whatever you feel is worth using for your gameplay. But have in mind that all the data and the content we are adding is something we see brings value. And if there's something you don't understand, always make sure to ask. Sign up through the QR code here at the top, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy. When you sign up, you get access immediately to the hole shot for the Winter Major Tournament and the 18 hole shots in January, and also the guides once they are out. We are obviously updating for the wind changes as well, needs to be said. Qualifying, opening, weekend round, we're always updating, so you will never go in blind. Let's have a look at Pro Division. And before we do go and look at a guide, I want to make a point in reading through the general advice and understanding our guides combined with balls, curl, and wind angles page. The reason for that is that we are obviously presenting all the data we do collect when we are practicing shots, and presenting it into a guide. So if you are a new user, especially, and not used to our lingo and our way of presenting data, make sure to read through here. It's 5 minutes of your time, but that will make it so much easier for you to understand what you're actually following. Obviously, I mean, it's not it's not a different language, but it's always good to read through to understand our thought process. A lot of example videos and stuff like that you can read through, because I believe that the more information you have, the more knowledge you get, the easier it's going to be for you to feel relaxed, free, calm, and really can just focus on doing the correct adjustment and hit perfect. Our team is led by Grant and Radu, and they are doing, I mean, they are the best in the business when it comes to creating pro guides, without a shadow of the doubt. So then obviously having a backup from the team, you can see we do have this presentation of all the people that is involved in the pro guide during the week. It's all about creating shots to making the slide, proofreading, and you know, all types of that. And we want to present that because we're not just a one-man band or two-man band. The reason we are so far ahead of others is due to the fact that we have a big team that everyone can pull their weight and help each other out and create the best guides there is out there. A part 4 guide, I mean, the layout for our guides are the same for all the divisions to make it a smooth transition if you decide to go up to expert or to master, or you go down from master to expert or pro, or whatever way. You can see here that when it comes to the first shot and the second shot, we have it separated on the top and then the bottom. What needs to be said when it comes to our pro guides, the base is always going to be free to play. So you don't have to waste any money balls to follow our shots. But if you want to use a money ball or like a paid ball, you can do that as well, as equally well. We are catering to extra mile level 6 plus as our main driver, but does that mean that you can't play with with the Thor's Hammer Apocalypse? Definitely not. It's just that we have found that there aren't just players with good clubs that want guides for pro division. So we're trying to cater to a wide variety of clubs. And that's why we're choosing to go as low as extra mile level 6, which means that even with low level clubs, you can still compete with the best of the best in that division. When it comes to the second shot, we use a lot of tables. This to simplify the adjustment to make sure that you do have the best possible way to drop a shot. Par 3s, we're working with wind angles as well in Pro, and we are doing so because it's needed. I mean, those of the players that are the best in their division, they are using wind angle tweaks. It's minor tweaks that will allow you to get a couple of extra drops per round if followed correctly. But do you have to follow that? No. Again, this is a guide. You decide what you want to follow. If that's not something for you and your game, then don't. But you need to have in mind that the reason we're adding it there is because we do believe it adds value and it will improve your game if you learn how to use that correctly. But again, it's up to you to decide. Otherwise, here is a par 3, a standard par 3 layout that we have, which you will see similarity when it comes to in Expert. So sign up here through the QR code or use the link patreon.com/golf-tommy. Get immediate access to the Telegram chat and also the guides once the guides has been produced. We are doing a guide for the qualifying, opening, and weekend round. We are always changing when they are making the wind angle changes, so it's not that you're gonna go in blind at any point. We have you covered and we'll be there all the steps of the way. To end up here, I want to end up as I started the video. For us, it is important that you do improve your game in general, because if you do that, you will shoot a lower score, you will drop more shots, and you will have more fun. The best way to do that is to get one of our guide packages, Pro, Expert, or Master. Perfect chance here now for the winter major coming up, because the major is a little bit more special with slightly better prices, but most importantly the respect of doing well in a major compared to doing well in a regular 18-hole tournament. Doesn't matter if your goal is to reach the weekend round, doesn't matter if your goal is to reach gold, we have the guide to cover every need. Bundle it together with 9-hole cup guides, shootout guides, or whatever. Sign up, give the guides a chance. If there is more questions before you sign up, you can always email support@golf-tommy.com. Use the QR code or use the link in the description down below. Once you sign up, you will unlock all the content and will be able then to access the Telegram chats, to access the early content, but also access the guide. Good luck in the Winter Major Tournament.